Is the next search on February 28th, 2020? 7:44 p.m. How period does the FBI find people, and people's misspelled P-E-O-O-P-L-E? Did the defendant find out how the FBI finds people in this case? Oh, she found out.
What more do you need to see?
I object.
Because he's the guy.
All right. There we go. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the recovery addict. You can't hear my music. Oh. It sounded something like this. I mean, it was going in my head, but it sounded something not that. It didn't sound like that. It sounded like this. That's what I was dancing to. This was probably the most RA of RA streams we've ever had. Did I mention it's Friday? What does AI say this stream is about? Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. Did we just change everything? I did, Brooke. I did. We just switched over to StreamYard. StreamYard makes it so that we can bring in guests because we have some light reading to do. I apologize. Greener's won on the last 5-minute stream. Oh, maybe it helps if I can put that on as well. Greener's won on the last 5-minute stream. I don't know who won this one. Looks like Chris H, maybe? Chris H, were you the winner? Let's just blame it's on CrowdStrike. Oh my goodness. I'll play the music for you just so we can enjoy the intro. Oh my goodness. You can hear it now, right? Please tell me you can hear this. Oh, Kim R1. Sound is bad. How bad is the sound? Is it just quiet? Let's see what we got over here. Settings on the audio. It's coming in through Rodecaster. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Is this any better? Test 1 2. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Same, different. No. It's a little compressed. That would be StreamYard for you. It does that. The AI summary for this live stream says viewers are reacting to technical issues on the stream, such as a lack of music and sound. For once, AI nailed it. And of course, we've got guests. Danny on Direct is here. Welcome, Danny. This is me just screwing up the intro like I normally do. It was round 2. The first one, I did a 5-minute live stream because I messed it up and switched over to StreamYard because we're doing some reading, and we might have people who want to join and help with the reading. We've got 6 different documents from Karen Reed that we need to address. You heard the music. Everything's good. It's loud now. AI nailed it. RA failed it. Thank you. That needs to be a shirt somewhere. Microsoft is down. I can't even blame Microsoft. Everything I own, it was made by Apple. Like I don't think in my house I even have a functioning computer that runs Windows, other than the Apple computer, which you can set up to dual boot. But no, I can't even blame this on CrowdStrike. It's all on me. Okay. Let's see. Greeters, you got recognized for your 5-minute one on stream. We're going to count it, add it to your record. Let me put some stuff up on here. This is let's see where we are. First of all, we did this big switch just so we could get from. Oops. Let's do this. Let's do this camera. That's a little better. How's my mustache? No food in it? No. Oh, good. Good. I had a delicious salad for lunch, by the way. I had avocado on it, which I'm a big fan of. If you can get an avocado when it's perfectly ripe, there's nothing better. There is nothing better in this world than a perfectly ripe avocado on a salad. I mean, it's better than bacon bits, and it takes a lot to top bacon. Anyway, I ate almost a whole avocado on my salad, which is probably not the best thing to eat for my diet, but I did it, and now I'm here. Let's see. Where are we in chat? Over here. Oh, I have not even turned on the commands. I failed miserably. Look at this. Okay, we'll see if seats work. If seats don't work, that's definitely going to be on. That's CrowdStrike. I'm blaming CrowdStrike for that one. Okay, so here's what I'm suggesting. We're not going to do a panel, and I'm only going to bring on like one person at a time. So you might be sitting in the green room for a long time if you want to read with me. But we have a few documents to review, which are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 new documents. Where's motion? I didn't see this one. Okay, so it's 3. Okay, good. Let's start with document number 1. These are in the Karen Reed trial. We're going to send this to.
Shame on you, sir.
I'm hearing weird dripping sounds, like water. It's been raining a lot, so maybe it's raining in my house as well. It's par for the course. All right, let's see. Where did that go? Downloads. There we go. Today, we open this and see if I can share this. Present the first document.
Somebody just sent me a video of roaches fighting. I don't know who won.
I don't know who won. There we go. Let's see if this works. We're just sharing documents here, so it doesn't take... the browser can't access your screen. Try capturing a different screen to see if this continues. Well, let's do this. Let's bring in another computer. Good thing we have some spares, right? Let's send it over to the Mac Studio.
Have them send someone with more experience.
We're going to get to some documents here in just a minute. Hold on just one second. We've got 6 different documents in the Karen Reed trial, which are going to be just epic. Let's see. I need the link for my own live stream, which
I saw a chicken fight.
This is not Burger King. People do
think
not
it's
get to
actually
have
the
it their
kids.
way.
I think the kids were pouring water on the deck. They're right outside the window. I think that's what it was. So no problems. All right, let's paste. I'm actually pasting the link one more time for the StreamYard in chat for my own benefit. Like I'm getting it to myself, which is probably the least effective way to do this, but it's Friday. There it is. It just popped up. Got it. All right, so I'll close these down.
The zombie apocalypse may be upon us.
We're going to call this need keyboard number 4.
Shame on you, sir.
Now we're good. Now we're good. Let's see if it will open on this one. Maybe it just doesn't like sharing preview items.
Are we going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
Are we? Oh, man, we are. I'm going to put this full screen on page 2 of camera 8.
Is that correct?
If I start the camera. Oh, that doesn't work. I have to present my page. Share screen. Entire screen. Sure. Now this part's working, but it would help better if we had a document on there. There it is. All right.
When are we going to break for lunch, Judge?
You guys want lunch already? The party has just started. All right. I have the document. We got there. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion, by the way. I'm the recovery addict. It's been yesterday. I had an excuse for this, but last night I think I got close to 10 hours of sleep, which was beautiful. It was absolutely wonderful. I was basically right after the podcast, went to bed, slept until right before we went live in the morning. So I have no excuses, is what I'm saying. But we're here. We've got some care and read documents to go over. I've got 6 of them in total. I think we're going to be reading about 36 pages. I've ordered for my kids. I've at least requested that they bring some food or water specifically because I'm running low. So hopefully we'll have some of that brought in. And other than that, should we just begin? Where's that? Now I've got like 3 different mice that I'm using. Oh, that's the wrong mouse. I need this mouse. No. Oh, this is weird. So see this mouse on the screen right there? I'm trying to go just above this box in StreamYard, as you can see, but I can't because it's monitor number 2. So I have to go back and forth. All right, now we're ready. Buckle up. Is there anything I'm missing? Let me look at chat really quickly and just see if you guys can. StreamYard gave me issues with audio last night, says Danny on direct. I've always had what I will call inferior audio with StreamYard, which is frustrating because it's my second most expensive expense. I'd say third. Number 1 is tech because I spend way too much money on tech. Number 2 is my bonded cellular encoder, which was $3,000 plus $400 a month for data. That's my third biggest expense is StreamYard, and it has subpar quality on both picture. It's a slower connection to the internet, which means there's more of delay between when I ask you a question and when you answer and I can see it. And the sound is always a problem. It won't go as loud as we want it to when you try to share stuff. It's always quiet. It's terrible. Anyway, here we are. We're in StreamYard. I've shared the link if anybody desires to join. They need to have a camera on, and we ask you have a good reading voice and be willing to join us for a document or something, which would be good. It's not any acting. We don't have to do the puppets or anything else. So no fears. But StreamYard got new owners, I hear. I think they got sold like last year or something, right? Let's see. I do give the way the internet. I don't know who won this time. So if somebody can tell me really quickly who the winner was, we'll unceremoniously bestow it upon them. I'm out of sync as well. Test 1, 2. Well, it helps if I just cover my mouth with the microphone and then you don't know if I'm in sync or not. How does that work? Let's see. Is audio slow? Let me adjust this. This is one of the reasons why I like hardware over software. But I'm routing through, audio's going through, yeah. Okay, quick. This is like on-air testing. You know what? What? Yeah. Do you want to read with me? Mrs. Ari wants to read with me. I don't have a camera for you. Are you okay with that?
No, that's awesome. I'm just saying if you need something to help reading,
I have a local volunteer, you guys. Mrs. Ari, who I was just talking about her on stream about her reading. She wants to join. Yeah, we could hear you reading for the kids. And tell you what, I will take this microphone. And if you take that microphone. Okay, right now I'm going to use both of them like this because now I'm like twice as loud in stereo until you come back and then you can have one. Okay, Kim R was the winner of the internet. Congratulations, Kim. That's the wrong one. Man. too many mice.
What?
No,
Oh.
not real mice, like computer mice. I'm trying to run too many screens with too many mouses. Do you want some headphones?
Do I need them?
Only if you want to hear yourself, which
I can actually hear myself all the time.
Okay.
Hey, guys.
Let's get some sound levels. Can everybody hear?
Well, if you need me to do sound levels, I do need headphones.
Okay. I'll just turn them on this side. Give me a test 1 2.
Test 1 2.
Okay. A little more.
Test 1 2.
All right. That works. All right. Now we're ready. Where were we?
I'll tell you. I was like, "Hey, how's Scott doing?" And I went and I looked at your thing and I was like, 2 minutes long. What is this? What?
Oh, he needs help. He needs help is what you're saying.
Let me go see if I can help. No, I was just like, what happened?
Yeah, it's been a rough afternoon for sure. Let's see if we can get the kids to bring us some water.
Oh,
Okay.
was that a subtle hint? Do you want me to go get you some water?
Yes, please. I have the best wife ever, just for the record, for those of you that didn't know. Her name is Jen. She has her own YouTube channel. She's a homeschooling mom, and she runs a channel about homeschooling. And so she shares a lot of the stuff that that just makes our homeschool tick, and that she does a fantastic job with it. So Homeschool Ground Zero on the internet. If you're interested in homeschooling, if you're not, it's probably not the channel for you. I'll be honest, because that's pretty much all she talks about. Although I'm trying to get her to start a cooking channel as well, because she has some great recipes. Welcome. Thank you.
Shy.
She's too shy. That's what it is.
I saw you guys mocking me last night. She's not shy.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't know. I could be.
Okay. All right. So what we're doing, Mrs. Ari, how do you want to see this? Do you want to see
I
like?
can see from here.
Yep.
We're talking about this thing right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be just a tiny bit delayed, or I can do it over there. If that
Oh,
works.
you mean the huge screen right in front of my face? I could see that. Yeah.
one. Does that work?
Yeah.
All right. So this is document number 1 of 6, and there's really no order to them. But as you know, Karen Reed has a hearing that happens on Monday, and that hearing is where the state decides, or the Commonwealth decides, if I need to be able to click on this. There we go. If
Well, Cash Out, you're going to have to start with the Mrs. RA makeup fund.
the Commonwealth has to decide if they want to charge again, what they want to do with this case. And I think they've said they want to charge again, but oftentimes that's just the bluster and bravado that they come with originally.
No, wait, you said that you thought they would. Do you still feel
I
that way?
think they will. I'm saying oftentimes that's what it is. When you saw like George Kelly, they said the same thing. They're like, we're going for it again. We're coming back. And then when they actually had the hearing, they're like, well, on second thought, we've decided it's in the best interest not to proceed. I think in this case, I think they're still going to go for it.
Really?
But that is in direct like opposition to the idea that that all the jurors found her not
Sorry,
guilty
that
on
was
2
funny.
of the charges.
Okay, so talk to me about that. They did.
Yeah.
Like 5 different jurors have come out and declared this is so, correct?
Well, we're going to find out what the 5th one said here, because we've got non-party juror Doe is starting to contact the court, and we're going to see about what. And I don't know if he's got a statement, he or she. We also don't know if juror Doe, this non-interested party, is one of the first 4. Is it A, B, C, or D, or is this actually a 5th juror?
And how can they possibly be not interested if they're a juror?
Well, when they say not interested party, it's meaning they're not the defendant and they're not the prosecutor.
Oh, okay.
So it's to the case itself. So they don't have standing in the case, I guess, which means could they even come before the court?
I don't know.
It's like when the media like interjects in a case, like they did up in Daybells.
Yeah.
Like we would, we're not a party to the case, but we feel like to file a motion.
We sure have an opinion on it.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Cachette. I appreciate it. All right, let's start reading a little bit. Do you want to start and I'll do the scrolling?
Yeah. Okay. What are we doing? We're just taking turns.
Yes. This is a 3-page document. It's double spaced. So do you want to read the whole thing?
No, I was just wondering if it was going to be like the girl says, the guy says, or if it's just taking turns.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be like
What is that
acting
called?
things out.
Yeah. You could act it out and you could do your puppets because that's weird.
No, we said no to that already for today.
Okay.
One day we'll do puppets, but not today.
Okay. Emergency motion of interested non-party juror Doe to extend order of impoundment of jury list. Juror Doe, an interested non-party. Oh, they are interested. They're just a non-party.
Right.
Okay. Moves pursuant to Rules 6 and 10 of the Trial Court, Rule 8, Uniform Rules of Impoundment Procedure for an indefinite extension of the order of impoundment. Entered sua sponte. Are you joking? What does that mean, sua sponte?
The judge did it on her own volition without a motion from any of the two sides.
Oh, okay. By the court on July 8th, 2024, impounding the list of jurors in this action. Juror Doe was a juror in this action and wishes to maintain their privacy. Translate.
Okay. Juror Doe is asking the court to extend the period of time that their names are kept secret.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The judge did on her own at the end of the trial.
Okay.
Because she gave like a 10-day window where
Okay.
they're not going to be released.
Okay. You want to go every other
Yeah,
paragraph?
I'll do it. In support of their motion, Juror Doe submits that the real and present risk of personal harm to the jurors and to the integrity of their service is ongoing. See the order of impoundment, quoting the Commonwealth via fajita. No, sorry. Is it fajita?
Fujita.
Fujita. I don't know what country of origin is there. Fajita, obviously. It's like Tahiti, but different. Therefore, maybe Fuji?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a person.
Sorry. And it's film too. Therefore, there continues to be a risk of immediate and irreparable injury should the juror list be made public, and good cause exists for indefinite extension on the order of impoundment.
In further support of their motion, Juror Doe filed herewith. Also filed herewith are a proposed findings and order and an affidavit of service reflecting compliance with Rule 4 of the Uniform Rules on Impoundment. Why do your paragraphs make sense and mine are just gobbledygook?
I give you the hard ones. Juror Doe requests for use as a pseudonym for purpose of this motion. So normally a motion has to have your name in it, but in this case, there's an exception. Wherefore, this is what they ask for. So this is the reasons up at top, and the bottom's the wherefore is the big ask. Juror Doe, an interested non-party, respectfully requests that the court grant their motion and enter the following relief. 1, to permit Juror Doe to proceed using a pseudonym for purposes of this motion. Okay, so it's a little late for that.
Yeah.
2, find that good cause exists for an extension of the order of impoundment of the jury list of Commonwealth versus Reed. And 3, extend the order of impoundment of the jury list in Commonwealth versus Reed. Indefinitely. This is the key word there at the end. Indefinitely, extend indefinitely, but no earlier than July 16th, 2025, which gives us basically a year. Give us another year of anonymity.
They're
signed,
very threatened.
signed by
Nobody.
by Andrew P. DeCezo. Okay, so I think that's a lawyer.
Yeah, it is the second name down.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, well, he just signed
What's
the
the
bottom.
point? I
Okay,
know.
so there's document number 1. It has the certificate of service on the bottom. All good, right?
Okay, so basically they said we're scared and we'd like to remain anonymous for a
He
year.
hasn't said the scared. He says there's a risk. He feels the risk, and we might have a document that has a little bit more that talks about that risk that they feel.
Okay.
So we'll send over document number 2 right now. Incoming. I have to go over here. Okay. I'll shake this one down.
I wish that I'd watched your show at some point so I'd have something intelligent to offer here, but all I can think of is we just cleaned our rooms. Yay.
Our house has like never been this clean. It's wonderful. See, memorandum in support of, so this is coming to send it to the studio. Studio, where you at? There we go. All right, here's document number 2. Why is this so hard? I've got like an Inception thing going on where I'm using the mouse both for StreamYard and the mouse, and separately outside of StreamYard, the same mouse to control.
Didn't you buy more?
Document. I've got
You
mice
have 3.
everywhere. I have a lot, and a spare one up there, but
Wow.
it just gets worse the more I plug in. All right, so next document right here is a memorandum in support of emergency motion. This is of interested non-party Juror Doe to extend order of impoundment. So this is a memo in support of the motion. So the first one's the motion. Here's the document supporting it. This gives the reasons. Okay. On July 8th, 2024, the court, that's Judge Cannoni, we call her Judge Beverly, noting that this case has received significant and divisive attention in Massachusetts and across the nation, issued an order of impoundment after finding that good cause exists to impound the list of identifying the names of impaneled jurors in the trial of this case. The court found good cause after concluding that there is a real and present risk of personal harm to the jurors and to the integrity of their service.
There is a risk to the integrity of their service. How so?
Well, it's funny that she used that language.
Yeah, it is.
Because the integrity of their service, she filed this on July 8th. So this is before they had finished.
When did the case end?
What was the verdict date? I thought she filed this before they finished.
Oh, that would make sense then.
Which would make sense. But if it was after, then we've got an issue where she says basically they might not be done, which is sort of foreshadowing the whole situation we're in right now, where the jury might be called back after the verdict for a post-verdict interview and all that.
Or she's saying, we don't think that you will, we feel that the pressure that you are receiving outside of court, like people who are putting pressure on you, is going to change your vote.
Yeah. And they were worried about that from the get-go. That's why they had the buffer zone around the courtroom for protests, so the jury could sort of be sheltered. Let's see. So there's a risk to the integrity of their service. Interested non-party juror Doe served on the jury and wishes to maintain their privacy. Because the risk of harm to the members of the jury, including Juror Doe, is ongoing and unlikely to abate in the foreseeable future, Juror Doe has moved pursuant to Rules 3 and 10 of the trial court, Rule 8. Is that 8? Yeah, it's 8.
Yeah,
That's what I guessed. 5 plus 3. Uniform rules on the impoundment procedure for an indefinite extension of the order of impoundment. Relief procedural history relevant to this motion. This is going to be some of the background. Do you want the short one?
Yes, please. On June 9th, 2022, the Commonwealth returned an indictment against the defendant, Karen Reed, charging Miss Reed with second-degree murder, docket number 1.
On March 26, 2024, the Commonwealth moved to establish a buffer zone surrounding Norfolk Superior Court during the trial of this action. See docket number 254. On April 4th, 2024, the court allowed the motion after noting that it was well documented that protesters have shouted at witnesses and confronted family members of the victim, and that witness intimidation has also been a prevalent issue in this case. A single justice of the Supreme Judicial Court, Georges, upheld the buffer zone order, noting that demonstrations near the courthouse could expose witnesses and jurors to intimidation and harassment, undermining their ability to testify or serve without fear of reprisal.
Wow. Trial was held over several weeks between April 2024 and July 1st, 2024. The case went to the jury, but after several days, the jury was unable to render a unanimous verdict on all 3 counts of the indictment. On July 1st, 2024, the court declared a mistrial. Defendant moved to dismiss 2 counts of the indictment after the trial. Miss Reed supported her motion with declarations from her attorneys recounting statements from jurors regarding the jury deliberation and interactions between jurors following the declaration of a mistrial. The circumstances of the trial and the post-trial motion practice have further intensified emotions about the jury and its individual members. Really, they're feeling more emotions are directed toward them, even after the trial.
Interesting, they inserted here that Miss Reed's motions filed through her attorneys included declarations from her attorneys recounting statements from jurors regarding, this is juror A, B, and C, right? Mm-hmm. Or A, B, C, and D. On July 8th, the court issued an order of impoundment, impounding the juror list of juror names and addresses. Among other reasons for entering the order, the court remarked that people associated with the case have been charged with intimidation. That's Turtle Boy. Pursuant to Rule 3B of the Uniform Rules of Impediment Procedure, the order of impoundment will expire 10 days after its issuance. That's July 18th, unless otherwise ordered by the court for good cause shown. So they were inviting. I don't think the court could just unilaterally just seal these forever, indefinitely, but they're inviting a motion that would give them reason to seal them possibly forever.
Gotcha. Good cause exists to extend the impoundment order. Number 1, applicable legal standards. Okay. A, the uniform rules permit impoundment upon a showing of good cause. Okay, so here's the good cause. The order of impoundment issued pursuant to Rule 3 of the Uniform Rules of Impoundment Procedure, which authorizes a court to impound materials on an ex parte or sua sponte basis. Translation?
I was reading something else. I was reading ahead. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so the order of impoundment says that ex parte, not with you.
That would be a meeting without all the parties there. So it doesn't have to be, it could be like just you and the
Okay.
judge. It doesn't have to be the prosecutor. It doesn't have
Okay,
to
so
be the
either
defense.
the judge on their own, on her own, or just between her and one person can decide that this is an issue.
Yeah, if one side says, hey, can you seal them? If the judge on her own says, can you seal them? They have the power to do this.
Okay. The committee notes to Rule 3 reflect that a court has the inherent power to impound its files in a case and to deny public inspection of them, and that is often done when justice so requires.
All right. You know what I need to do? I need to bring camera 7.
So
back
basically,
over
they
here.
said it's legal and it happens quite often when it's required.
Okay.
Oh,
This-
and there it went.
I'll bring it back. You have camera 8 right here. Does that work?
Mhm.
Now I can run them separately. All right. Sua sponte impoundment orders expire 10 days from the date of issuance unless otherwise ordered by the court. Here come the police.
I told
Fire
you to
truck.
pay the bill.
Fire truck.
That's worse.
Where are kids? Rule 3D authorizes a party or interested non-party to file a motion to modify any such order. An impoundment order may be extended only after hearing and upon good cause shown. In determining good cause, the court shall consider all relevant factors, including but not limited to the nature of the parties in the controversy, the type of information and the privacy interests involved, the extent of community interest, constitutional rights, and the reasons for the request. It's interesting. The extent of community interest is probably one that is negative to or opposes the sealing, the impoundment. Community interest would be a reason to release it, right?
Normally, yes. But I would say that if community interest is putting them at risk, that would probably be more in favor.
And the case law for this is New England Internet Cafe LLC versus,
Are you joking?
versus Clerk of Superior Court for Criminal Business in Suffolk County.
Oh, wow.
Part B, this is you.
Court records may be impounded if the court finds a risk of personal harm or harm to the integrity of the judicial process.
We have some people ready to join. Let's see. Hold on
Okay.
1 second. I've got some other readers that we can bring on the screen.
Awesome, because I have to take our kid to a thing
work.
he's doing. Not
Okay.
work, but something else.
Okay, I'll let you finish this.
Okay. Juror Do acknowledges that a jury list, if such a document exists, is a court record. If it exists, it exists. Juror Do further acknowledged that court records are presumptively public. The principle of publicity of judicial records is not, however, absolute. Court possesses supervisory power over their records and files and have properly denied public access where those records and files might have become a vehicle for improper purposes. Impoundment is available upon showing of good cause. Okay, so this list exists. It's normally public, but if there's some special cause to keep it private, then, and that's what we're trying to prove right now.
Okay. How long do you have? Do you need to go right now?
I need to leave at 1:45.
Okay.
So
we've-
like a
we've got
half
some
hour.
time. Let me introduce. Do you want to get some headphones and bring them back so you can hear Debbie?
I don't know where our
I
headphones
think
are.
they're in the piano right now.
They're in the piano?
Like our son was using them as practice.
Oh.
The digital piano. Okay. I am bringing Debbie on the screen. Debbie, can you hear me?
Yep.
Debbie,
Well-
how?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Debbie, where are you?
Where am I physically?
Yeah, what state?
Florida.
Yep. Okay,
Florida.
All right. That way, if you suddenly said, "Hey, weather's bad," we would like to know what happened and where. So I need to go.
Oh, okay.
Debbie, welcome from Florida. We're in the middle of reading this document. Do you want to take turns reading paragraphs? Is that all right?
Sure. Where are we?
We are right at the withholding names of part.
Okay. Withholding the names of trial jurors from press or public after the trial has terminated involves a clash of constitutionally protected interests. In RE Globe Newspaper Co. whatever. These interests may include the press's First Amendment right of access to criminal trials, the defendant's Sixth Amendment right to a fair trial, and the jurors' interest in having their privacy protected. I'm going to skip that. The
Yep,
cited
we
stuff.
skipped the citations. That's fine.
In considering a motion to impound judicial records, the court may take into consideration the privacy interests of third parties.
All right. So the third party in this case is going to be the
juror.
one whose name is going to be kept private, apparently.
Yeah, the juror. Yeah.
The little footnote here says the order of impoundment references the list of identifying the names of impaneled jurors in the trial of the case, and so juror do assumes the existence of the list. If an actual list has not yet been compiled and placed into the case file, however, it is an open question as to whether one must be created. Fujita, concerned and repeatedly references a dispute over public access to the identities of jurors who rendered a verdict in a criminal case. The majority opinion in Fujita directed the trial courts to compile lists of jurors no later than at the completion of the trial, which Justice Grants in dissent understood to mean that the following the verdict, a list of jurors' names must be created and made part of the court file. Here, of course, no verdict was rendered, and Fujita should not compel the creation of a list if none currently exists. Go ahead, Jen.
In his dissent in Fujita, Justice Gantz cautioned that the risks of disclosing jurors' identities may extend to the judicial process itself. His dissent is worth quoting at length.
It's a big one.
I also fear, do you want to take it?
I also fear that the creation of a juror list to be included in the case file may, over time, diminish the fairness and impartiality of jurors. Jurors are the only persons in this country that we presently draft into government service. We ask them for a few days or a few weeks to put aside their employment, educational, or family responsibilities and devote their full attention to a criminal or civil trial where they will decide guilt or liability. We have had few instances in this Commonwealth where jurors have been threatened or harassed after their verdict, but many jurors fear the possibility, especially where they reside in or near the communities of the litigants or the litigants' families. By making it easy for anyone to obtain their names, the risk of such misconduct will increase, and the jurors' fears that their verdict may make them a target of such misconduct, even if it is only an angry telephone call or Facebook posting, will increase proportionally.
I agree.
And let's see, they've got in the Globe newspaper, failure of the court to shield jurors from threatened harm could seriously damage the functioning of the courts and the jury system.
Oh, I agree. I think that people will try to stay off of juries.
I'm going to bring Debbie. We're going to bring Allie from Tennessee on as well. Allie, how are you doing? Are you driving, Allie?
You cannot read while you're driving.
You're muted still, Allie. Hang on.
I'm pulled over.
You're pulled over by the police?
Yeah. Is that voluntary?
Yeah.
Yes. I'm just kidding. I'm lying. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna mute.
Okay. I'll set you off on the in the green room again for a bit. We'll bring you back. We don't want her to wreck. She has to park. All right. Debbie, do you want to read the next one?
Yeah. The Fujita court determined that a judicial finding of good cause may include a risk of harm to the jurors or to the integrity of their service. Similarly, the First Circuit in RE Globe Newspaper Co. indicated that a risk to the personal safety of jurors obviously would constitute good cause, where jurors to feel that their personal safety was at risk, they might not only be reluctant to serve, but might tailor verdicts so as to forestall harm to themselves, thus depriving the parties of an impartial juror. The First Circuit stated that it will defer to a trial court's factual findings on this issue and that it would not lightly second guess the district judge's essential role as trial administrator when he or she makes responsible, practical decisions, balancing some of the competing considerations discussed herein in light of the realities of the particular case. Which makes
All right.
sense.
So you've got jurors that say if their names get out, it would harm the process by causing the jurors to make a decision based on what would happen to them if they made a different decision.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
And that's going to be on like future cases too. So not necessarily on this one, but if you're a juror who watched what happens in this case and you get called to be a juror, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, if my name gets out, these big bad thugs and whatever group, they're going to come after me. I'm going to protect myself from that happening. So it would create a systemic problem.
Yeah.
Allie, I brought you back on. Did you want to comment or did you want to read? I'm not sure what you're in the car, so I'm nervous.
I'll read.
You'll read. All right. Where we've got, can you read? Can you see what's on the screen there? Or
Yes.
okay.
Sorry,
One
y'all.
second.
I don't have makeup. Where should I start?
Just right at the top of the page.
Okay. Upon entering, let me make this bigger. Upon entering the sua sponte impoundment order, the court determined that there is a real and present risk of personal harm to the jurors and to the integrity of their service. This determination was correct, and the impoundment order must be extended because these risks continue to exist and are likely to intensify.
Wow.
So the one thing they haven't pointed out yet, they said there was somebody that has been charged with, we lost her. She disappeared. She came back. Miss Turtleboy's been charged with what?
Witness intimidation.
Witness intimidation. But they're talking about these risks that they exist. It's a potential. Has there been any evidence of anything otherwise? Have they got any calls? Has there been anybody
Well,
that?
did you see what happened to Turtle Boy when he went back to Canton? He went to what was the name of that bar? No, the bar next to the pizza shop.
All right. Okay.
And
there was an altercation.
I had forgot everybody's names at this
Alberts.
point. No, one of the girls that was at the party that night. I forgot her name. Julie Nagel, I think was her name. She was in the bar and just like staring at him while they were in there eating. And then when he left, there was like a mob of people that were just taunting him. Somebody grabbed his phone and threw it out in the street.
Okay, but that can be used for this motion because that goes the other direction. That's he's not a protected party in this case, right? So they're saying there's this risk to jurors.
So are the jurors afraid of Turtle Boy or are they afraid of the McAlberts?
Yeah, I don't know if it's him specifically. I mean, his name's been tossed around a lot in sort of behavior.
If I was a juror, that whole incident would scare me as a juror. I agree. That they're that like not physical, but confrontive of people. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that you necessarily, you don't need to be hit in the face to know that it's a real threat. Like you can read a room and say, I don't want to have anything to do with this.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at this next part. It says there's substantial risk of personal harm to the jurors. The public interest associated with this case is unique, not just for its intensity, but for the extent to which segments of the public have become invested in the outcome and taken sides for and against persons affiliated with the case. Indeed, both this court and the single justice of the Supreme Judicial Court recognized that imposing a buffer zone around Norfolk Superior Court during the trial, the circumstances of this case continued to pose unique risk of personal harm to the jurors. The buffer zone was to protect the jurors from information, wasn't it? It wasn't a safety issue.
Do you watch
and
the
then
news?
one of the documents.
Yeah, but people are super violent today.
I know they were yelling a lot, but I thought it was to protect the jury from hearing outside information and getting outside influence.
Well, one of the documents, one of the jurors does say that they could still hear the protesters.
Yeah, but I think what Scott is saying is they were not under physical threat then. There's no evidence that they were under physical threat now. How can we proceed as if there's a physical threat when there's never been any physical altercations?
They're using this motion to say, hey, the risk of harm is still there. And I don't think the risk of harm was what brought about the buffer. So they're saying, the buffer was proof that there was harm.
I see what you're saying.
I think it's a false argument.
Well, I don't know, because they're not talking about necessarily physical harm. They say even if it's just a Facebook post or a phone call, that is certainly within the same realm as somebody yelling at you from a block away.
And I know there have been Facebook posts. I mean, we've seen them, but I'm not sure if they've been directed at the jurors so much as maybe witnesses. But all right, we've got example of reading Thal on here, muted. Allie B, we got you back as well. Nobody feel obligated to stay forever. If you just want to read a couple and jump off, that's fine. But we'll take some turns. Thal, did you want to read this next one?
Sure. Starting at Juror Doe.
Yeah.
Okay. Juror Doe notes in the affidavit that the jury recognized the intensity of the public interest during the trial. Affidavit of Juror Doe, they heard protesters outside the courthouse yelling and screaming. After being discharged from the service on July 1st, 2024, the jury was taken by bus back to what was supposed to have been a secret location where they observed what appeared to be members of the media, including photographers. Juror Doe says that they were so much in fear on their way home from jury service that they pulled over to the side of the road to make sure that they were not being followed. Each
Holy
side
cow.
of the issue appears to include persons willing to inflict or to encourage others to inflict harm on persons associated with the case. As the court is aware, there have been many accusations and at least one arrest and charge for witness intimidation. CEG Commonwealth versus Kearney Norfolk Superior Court number blah 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 blah.
That
The
is the
blogger-
Turtle Boy
Boy.
case. That's Turtle Boy.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
his last name is Curdy.
The blog, I'm going to do with a little bit more flair.
You're
The
good.
blogger who has been charged with witnesses in the intimidation and has characterized any jurors did not vote to acquit the defendant as idiots who helped cover up a murder.
He
Juror
said
Doe
that.
Affidavit 19. This accusation, of course, absurd. But this is noteworthy because the blogger has demonstrated how he treats those with whom he believes covered up a murder. He has been accused of and essentially admits to harassing witnesses and has made statements to the effect of murderers and those who cover for them do not deserve to live comfortable lives. The blogger gleefully admitted to obtaining a public jury list in different criminal cases and shamming the juror who did not deliberate in the manner he preferred.
Well,
Okay.
hang on. So now they're getting into the specifics of an incident, and this is the Turtle Boy case. Okay, so you've got Commonwealth v. Kearney. This is ongoing. I know he was just like arrested on warrants in front of his kid's bus or something just the other day. There's all sorts of drama. We have not been following that, okay, because I don't think that's what the case is about. We've been trying to focus just on the case itself, but they're citing those events now as this reason, as saying that he is including the jurors in his
Group of people that he will
yeah
maltreat.
yeah. So he's including them, saying they are covering up for the murders by voting for them. Or
Okay, so they're saying in this one specific instance, we feel that there is a threat to the jurors, and therefore that extends far
This-
enough that we need
this
to
is
keep
the
it private.
risk. They're spelling out the risk right here.
Okay.
Who wants to go next? Allie, you want to take another one?
Got to
You
unmute Alex.
sound amazing, I'm sure, but you're muted.
Sorry. Some among the defendants. Okay. Sorry, I'm blind. Can I turn my camera off?
Yeah, if you want. That
Okay,
works.
thanks. Okay.
I'm gonna turn your camera off, but keep your voice on. Does that work?
Okay, some among the defendant's detractors pose risk of harassment and violence as well. Juror Doe is aware of dueling requests for harassment orders and of physical altercations between the two sides. Juror Doe affidavit 23 to 24, as recently described in the Boston Globe, the people who were on the fringe of being interested in it are now engulfed. The anger level was at a 9 before, and now it's at an 11.5. The article characterized this increase as a rising rage. The article goes on to quote another interviewee as saying, "People are insane about this case. If they don't agree with you, they'll try to dox you." Do you want me to keep
Man.
going?
That is crazy.
It is,
That's insane.
but I think accurate.
We mentioned this when we were watching the trial. The two sides of this have been so polarized. I can't think of the last time we've had a case that wasn't political, that had people so adamant on one side or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So-
I think the phrase, what do they say, rising rage, that is a really appropriate description.
I think there have been key individuals on both sides that have really contributed to the level of the
Yeah.
banter.
But if you're a juror it doesn't matter. I think that the unspoken argument here is, well, it's not very many people. It's just a couple, and they're the most extreme, right? But I feel like if you're a juror, who cares if there's even one?
It just
That's a
takes one.
threat.
Yeah. Debbie,
I've
you wanna
never seen so much hate on a witness stand before. It came from some of these witnesses. It was crazy.
It's been crazy. And
Yeah.
honestly, some of the people that are against the witnesses have equally shared some pretty strong opinions.
I think it's both sides.
Yeah.
And if you're a juror, it's like, well, how am I going to win?
Yeah. Debbie, you wanna
Exactly.
take this
I
next
would
one?
be afraid too. Yeah. The jurors, if identified, are likely to become targets of harassment, abuse, doxing, and potentially violence. The nearly unprecedented and vitriolic public interest associated with this case is likely to put it squarely within the few instances in this Commonwealth where jurors have been threatened or harassed, as noted by Justice Gantz in Fujita. The court would be well within its discretion to find a continuing risk of personal harm to the jurors and that good cause exists to permit them to remain anonymous if they choose to do so.
Jen, I think you're up.
Okay. There is a substantial risk of personal harm to the judicial system. There also exists an ongoing risk of harm to the integrity of the judicial system. Again, as cautioned by Justice Gantz, the creation of a juror list to be included in the case file may, over time, diminish the fairness and impartiality of jurors. This to me seems like the biggest risk. If jurors fear reprisal in the form of shaming, abuse, or harassment, it will make it more difficult both to impanel a jury and for individual jurors to remain fair and impartial. I feel like this is like Maya. Like the case with Maya, I was like, man, nobody's going to want to be on a jury again.
Isn't there an argument on the other side, though? I mean, there's a trial by your peers. You have the right to face your accusers. I think you have the right to see who the jury is. And as long as you do when courts are open, which I believe they should be, the public can see.
Yes, I think it's likely that the McAlberts and, what are their actual names? The Alberts and the McCabe's?
Alberts and McCabe's.
I think they know the juries. It's not that big of a community.
I'm pretty sure pretty much everyone in court. Now, the court orders you not to take pictures, and even for the press, they're not supposed to take pictures of the jury.
Yeah, so we're not talking about the locals.
Because nowadays you could take a picture and Google would tell you who it is.
Yes.
Hey, recovery addict, I got a simple solution to this whole problem.
Oh, good.
Okay. Just get the jurors. You know it's going to be messed up. Get the jurors Secret Service protection. Badoom tish.
I think it's too soon to go
too
there.
soon, Thal.
Matter of fact, Thal, thank you for joining us today. It's been good. We'll see you later. Thank you very much. I kicked you off briefly.
Poor Thal.
Oh, pickles, not politics.
I do think that this is a legitimate concern, though, and I felt it more in the case of Maya because they did disclose the information about the jurors, and it was the lawyers who went after him there. So the lawyers probably know the names of the jurors right now. So that threat is still just like it was in Maya's case. But there's also, if you disclose it to the world, I totally agree with this. I feel like there are just too many people with too big of feelings and no self-control. I don't think they should release their information. But you were saying, isn't there an argument on the other side?
I'm saying most states release that information. That most of these lists are public. That oftentimes even the juror questionnaires are released. So like you get all sorts of personal information on those. As a media, like the media doesn't pour through those other than just like, hey, we've got this juror, male, this old. He used to be a rocket scientist, married to a cop. That's about the detail we would get from a juror questionnaire nowadays. You won't go into, and he's got, two children who are charged with this XYZ crime and all that. You don't usually dig that far into their life because these are people that are drafted into service. Okay. I mean, we don't have a military draft right now, but they, like the document says, they've been drafted. They have to be there on threat of jail time. And so I think we do owe them some degree of protection, but finding what that degree is.
I usually side with you on this, that I do believe that it's better to keep things public. Bad stuff dies in sunlight. But I disagree on this one. I think
I'm sitting next to the mute button.
I just think
I know.
I just think that I think you really nailed it when you said people don't go pouring through it. Well, that was then. This is now. People do go pouring through that information, and they do stuff with that information that is nefarious and dangerous. So I think because it is a very real and present threat, they should be protected.
And we're in a different world than it was when these rules were made. I mean, everyone has to admit that the power of the internet and what it can do. I mean, we've come a long way from it being a digital version of Encyclopedia Britannica, right? You can find people's lives and can ruin people's lives with a little post. And so, yeah, I think the laws need to be addressed, but it's scary because I think the laws are going to tighten down what we see as freedoms or our rights in a big way. But
yeah,
it's
because you
also
can't
scary for the
legislate
other side.
morality. Yeah.
Did we read this last one?
I don't know.
Just real quick, I got a question. On a serious note, though, who could provide the protection? I mean, we've got 20 people that you'd have to cover with security if this thing is that high profile and they're that worried about it. I don't know that the state, county, or even the city has the resources to man that. I just don't think you could. I don't think there's a way.
The easiest way to protect them would be to not allow their information out. Then they wouldn't need.
But I'm
security.
worried that would if we set that as the rule to protect the jury, that they would end up being sealed away in a box that nobody could see. We would lose the transparency of the court, and it might even risk the availability of the public to attend a court because. All you need is, a sketch artist can draw a sketch good enough that you can identify somebody now using AI.
What sucks is that after they do their civic duty, they feel like they have to go out and pay a lawyer for them to be able to say anything to protect their identity.
Yeah.
This juror had to go out and pay a lawyer. To do the motion for this.
Well,
this is spinning.
The public doesn't have a right though to watch the jury trial. The judge can just say no, right? To a public trial.
They have before.
Depends on the state. Most states
they can say no to cameras
unless there are specific issues. Like if there are children abuse situations, they can close a court. Very sensitive information. Sometimes if the government argues and says we have a confidential informant that we can't disclose or something like that, they can seal a courtroom that way. But generally they're open. That's the way our court system works.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out it's great they have all these complaints, but I'm just trying to figure out in my brain, is there any real solution to this issue?
I think it's further upstream than what we're talking about. We're talking about way after the dam has broken. We're trying to get the water to go back where it belongs. We need to move back further and say this kind of behavior is unacceptable.
Do you really think that the threat for the jurors is greater than it would be, say, to Lally or the judge?
No.
Or the witnesses?
I do, absolutely.
I think that they're being over exaggerating, sort of. Like,
are those sirens coming from the person who's in a car? That's a little concerning.
I am pulled over stationary, so I'm good. But here's the thing.
Sure.
Hell, you're a little bit quiet. Let me see if I can adjust it on my side.
I'll be loud. I'm a quiet voice. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'll try to scream.
You're good. I'll adjust it on my end.
Okay. So anyway, the point is, I feel bad for the jurors because yes, those people are scary. But my thought is, if you get approached, just say no, walk away. If they continue to threaten you or whatever, then call the police. I don't think that they need to be like locked in a box or whatever. And I get the whole concept. Those people are freaking crazy. But this seems extreme to me. But I don't know. Maybe
Allie, do you think it's extreme to keep their names hidden?
No, I guess not.
I've never wanted to. Even after the Maya trial, I've never wanted to go back and say who are the jurors. I've always we've put it out there and said after a case, hey, if anyone does know the juror or they talk to somebody and they're interested in talking, we'd like to hear from them. And that's, I think, as a media point, that's as far as media should go. There should never be an effort.
I don't think they need to release them publicly just to release them. People that are public, journalists and stuff that want to talk to them, they can find that out. But no, I don't think they should mass release the names. No, it's none of our business.
Let's just think that through logically. What is the benefit of releasing the names? Why do they do that?
Tradition, number one. because
Yeah, because it's never been a thing.
yeah, it's part of the record to show that, documented that you've had a jury of your peers. These are the individuals that you can see were from your area, that you can go back and say, yep, I
Okay.
did get fair treatment under the law.
Okay, so it protects the jury by your peers. Okay, so then what would be the danger of hiding that information?
Well, say you're a conspiracy theorist and you say, oh,
I
look,
am.
I had a trial and a jury was called, and I've never seen any of those people before. I don't think they're from here. I think you brought in.
Okay, well, no, you're talking about sticking them in another room. I'm just saying, what about not releasing their names?
How is that different?
Because you can see them.
Well, unless you can verify their identity.
What? So wait, are you saying that that people who are on trial are like, okay, let me just get your name, make sure you're from this area?
Yeah, after the fact. I mean, we've seen plenty of cases where after the fact, after the case is over, the lawyer comes back and says, hey, we discovered there was a problem. There should be a mistrial. This guy should not have been on the jury. He failed to disclose XYZ. They can go through and look at that from a legal standpoint. And you lose that if you keep their names under seal. Okay,
so what if there was like a middle ground? It's released to the lawyers, but not to the public.
Lawyers are arguably the worst of the two to release it to.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's keep going on the document here for a little bit. There also exists an ongoing risk of harm to the integrity of the judicial system. That word got away from me, sorry. Again, as cautioned by Justice Grants, the creation of a juror list to be included on the case file may over time diminish the fairness and impartiality of jurors. If jurors, I think you guys read this already, if jurors feel reprisal from the form of shaming, abuse, and harassment, it will make it more difficult both to impanel a jury and for individual jurors to remain fair and impartial. I'll read the next one because we got backed up. The risk is not abstract, partially because Commonwealth v. Reed is not over. In the event of a new trial, the parties will need to impanel a new jury. No doubt that will be a difficult task in any event. But if jurors from the first trial are identified and harassed, it will be even more difficult to find jurors willing to serve and potentially be subjected to the same treatment.
Amen.
There is a real risk to administration of justice to the parties' rights to a fair trial. The court should minimize this risk by extending the order of impoundment. Even if they extend the order of impoundment, every single one of these jurors who has a job gets a note from the judge.
Yeah, but everybody else who could be a potential juror is watching and saying, not I.
How? They don't have a choice.
Oh, you can get out of a jury. Matthew Harris, how do you not get on a jury?
There are ways. There are things you can do. And honestly, I would only recommend you always tell the truth. Because you're under oath to tell the truth when you're in court like that. But
yeah,
if they
but
ask
if you
a
tell
question,
enough truth, then you're going to get off.
If they ask you a question and say, can you follow the law? And you're like, no. I mean, he was arrested. That means he's guilty. I mean, they wouldn't have arrested him if he wasn't guilty. That would get you off the jury like that.
I got off a jury, but I was having chemo, so.
You had a reason.
That's legitimate.
That's called a hardship.
That is a hardship.
There's for cause and there's hardship. Hardship would be a medical situation, a family, a pressing family need, things like that. That's perfect.
Oh, I did get off a jury another time. My very first time I was on a jury, my dad was a Florida Highway Patrolman, and his supervisor arrested a guy for DUI. And that was the jury that I was on. And I said, I cannot, because my dad was a supervisor. There was no way I could have voted not guilty on that one. My dad would have killed me.
Jen Del Rio, thanks for gifting a membership. Also, Megan Easton said choo choo camera and makeup. I missed that one earlier. Sorry.
That's funny.
All right.
I have a question. Can they bring, this is kind of dumb, but serious. Could they bring in a jury from a different state?
That's a great question.
It is a good question. I think that focuses on the jury of your peers.
Yes, it does.
And the basic of that is that the principle behind that is that back in the colonial days when we were ruled over by Britain, if you committed a crime, they would take you over to England and you would be tried by a jury over there. And these were people who didn't know what life was like living in the colonies. They didn't know what the people were like, what every day was like. And so you were judged by people who didn't understand how you are. And so in enacting that role, we pick people from the county. We try people in the county where the crime committed, and we pick the jury from the county that the crime committed, with the exception of change of venue. Change of venue is where we say there's enough reason that we are going to, vary from this local jury where you're tried by people who are in your community who understand, how life is in this little part of the world. And then they'll say, because we can't get a fair one here, we'll move next door.
And I think, honestly, the Karen Reed trial really is ripe for being a change of venue. It is going to be so hard to get a fair jury out of this pool of people. And frankly, looking at what went down there, I'm like, I think you'll get a better trial outside of that soup.
Bring them to Tennessee.
I'm up.
Allie's like, I'll serve on the jury. Right here.
Where are we at?
Oh, part 3. Proceed under pseudonym.
Part 3. Oh, okay. Finally, Juror Doe requests that may be permitted to proceed under a pseudonym for the purposes of this notion. The same reasoning for the motion to extend the order of impoundment underpins this request. Juror Doe files this motion to protect the anonymity and that of all the other members of the jury who wish to remain anonymous. Requiring them to proceed under their name would defeat the purpose of the motion and would threaten the very interests Juror Doe seeks to protect. For the reasons set forth above, the court shall allow interested non-party Juror Doe's motion and should extend the order of impoundment. Waiting on recovery edict.
It's just signed. Respectfully signed, Juror Doe.
Oh, that was it? There was no crescendo.
And just a filing. That's it. So that's the end of document 2. Okay, so there's reasoning. That's the reasoning we wanted. Let me do it.
For me, that's completely valid reasoning. They're feeling threatened. They feel safer without their information being disclosed. Even hearing the reasoning of why you should not release this information, I still feel like, no, yeah, in this situation, the threat is real and it's immediate. And I think that you should keep their names hidden.
Yeah, that's valid, but it doesn't stop people who know what they look like from harassing them.
That's correct. Yeah. And I think if anything like that happens, they're going to have to individually, call the police on each situation. Yeah. But if you can minimize how many people can make your life miserable, I think that would be preferable. I got to go. I'm sorry. It's been fun. I got to leave.
Thank you. Drive safely. We have, let me bring in the next document. Sorry, my mouse is super loud. I need to change this up for the quiet mouse. All right. Next document. I'm going to take Mrs. R.A.'s mic because I like the angle of this one better. All right. This next one in the case is Defendant Karen Reed's second supplemental memorandum in support of her motion to exhibit. Okay. Now I'm ready. My tongue is woken up.
Wait. Is this a
Pittsburgh
thing from the? Is this a thing from the court, or did Karen Reed write this?
This is Defendant Karen Reed through counsel. So this is from their counsel. That's the next.
It's not going to have her flair.
No, I don't think Karen Reed wrote any of them. I mean, it says now comes Karen Reed by and through undersigned counsel, which means this is I'm representing the defendant, but I'm the lawyer for the defendant.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking Sarah Boone. Oh. I was like, oh man, come on, Sarah, give us
got
more.
A letter today from Sarah Boone. I'll check while we look at this.
I'll instigate. I'll make it happen, brother.
I'm searching right now, pulling up her case, looking at the docket. No, nothing yet.
Do you want me to read?
Sure, that would be great. Go ahead, Allie.
Okay. Now comes the defendant, Karen Reed, by and through under assigned counsel, and hereby respectfully submits the second supplemental. Sorry, my Southern voice does not say this very well. Memorandum in support of her motion to dismiss, filed July 8th, 2024. As reflected in the attached affidavit of Alan J. Jackson, a fifth deliberating juror, Juror E, has confirmed that the jury was unanimous on 1 and 3, and that Karen Reed was not guilty of those charges. Alan J. Jackson, second supplemental affidavit.
Okay,
And
so that's 5. 5 now have confirmed that same thing. I'm beginning to believe it. I mean, I did before, but this is believable. I don't know how many more you need. This is definitely going to be something that's going to be discussed on Monday with the judge. And I don't know how many you need to take action, but we're almost up to the 50% mark. I mean, once we get 6, that's half the jury. All right. Debbie, did you read one already? Is it my turn again? I forget. I've got one
You
job
haven't
on this
read in
job.
a while.
That's true. Based on the attached affidavit and all of the reasons set forth in its opening motion, the first supplemental memorandum and a reply, the defense respectfully renews its contention that the jury acquitted Ms. Reed on counts 1 and 3, or alternatively, there was no manifest necessity for a mistrial as to those counts, and therefore the double jeopardy protections of the federal and state constitutions require that those counts not be retried. If the court would prefer to rule on the basis of affidavits executed directly by the jurors, the defense respectfully requests permission to initiate contact with jurors A, D, and E for the sole purpose of asking them to affirm the accuracy of the 3 affidavits of Alan Jackson, respectfully submitted for the defendant, Karen Reed, by her attorneys. So this is a short little letter, but it's saying, in support of the motion to dismiss, we think, now that we've got one more juror, we think the court should dismiss these charges. And if the court's okay with it, we'd like to reach out to those other 3 that we've sort of heard through like a go-between and get their direct affidavit instead of having like a hearsay upon hearsay situation. So that was a quick one.
Well, I mean, isn't this just being done basically to like a appeals court for kind of like an appeals court thing, rather than, because the way I understand it, there's no way that they're going to overturn the verdict or restrict the state from filing new charges. The state's the only one that can stop themselves from doing that.
I don't know if this has not happened many times in the past. As a matter of fact, the case law for it was going way back. I don't know what the process is for handling this. And I think the defense is trying to lay out the groundwork saying, hey, let's do it this way. Right, let's just dismiss the charges. We've got these affidavits that say this is what's happened. Let's just dismiss it. I'm not sure if one of.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say the jurors was the foreman or not. That would be interesting if the foreman comes out and says, "Yeah, we did."
I was going to say the talk around the water cooler from the quote unquote professional lawyers. They're all evil, by the way. They're lawyers. I can't help it. I didn't choose the career. Anyway, the thing is from the YouTube water cooler talk around a bunch of lawyers, is that the court, since they never put it on a paper or told the judge or all that stuff, then it's up to the state's discretion. There's nothing the court can do. But I mean, on appeal, it's one of those things. I'm thinking maybe they're building a case for an appeal, even if they are, found guilty on those charges later, or it's going to become a haranguing mess, I think.
I think they have pretty good grounds to appeal, just based on the pre-verdict motions they made about the verdict form itself. They knew there was a problem at the beginning, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, next document up to read. I think this is a bit of a longer one. Let's see where we are. Oh no, this is a short one as well. This is the second supplemental affidavit by Alan Jackson in support of Karen Reed's motion to dismiss. Okay. Who's up? Thal?
I'll do it.
Just read. Okay.
Where is it?
Are you not seeing it? You
Nope.
just have to. Nope. Just kidding. Let me add it to the stage here.
God. Working with amateurs here, chat. Amateurs.
Why don't you get someone who's got a little more experience?
Yes, sir. I, Alan Jackson, declare I am the partner of the Los Angeles law firm of Wexon Jackson and Quinn. Just the way you put it, LLP. Why? And I have been licensed.
Lawyers speak in a flowery language. They have their own words.
I can read it very flowery. And I have been licensed to practice law since 1994. I'm the counsel.
I was still in high school then.
For Karen Reed, appearing on her behalf in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts pro hoc vice. On Wednesday, July 17, 2024, I was contacted by Juror E, true name and identity withheld to maintain anonymity. Based on my conversation with Juror E and that juror's physical description of himself/herself, where that juror was seated, and that juror's name and occupation, which was also disclosed during the voir dire process, I was able to positively identify Juror E as seated deliberating juror in a trial of this matter. Juror E stated that they decided to contact me to provide information about the results of the jury's decision-making following deliberations. Jury explained that the jury was unanimous on 1 and 3 that Karen Reed was not guilty of those charges. Juror E went on to state that only count which the jury was deadlocked was in relation to the lower charges. On Court 2, I took that to mean the lesser included offenses associated with Count 2. Juror E indicated that they was happy to provide such information but wished to remain publicly anonymous. The foregoing is true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief, under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States and the state of California and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Very good. The reason why Alan Jackson signs everything with California, Massachusetts, he's a California lawyer. When he says he's operating, what was his term, pro hac vice, he's basically a visiting lawyer authorized to practice law under a sponsored, a friend vouched for him, and that was Unetti. So Unetti is vouching for him. He's not licensed to practice law in Massachusetts for that reason. So that's why you hear him always sign off his letters like this. That was a quick one. Sorry, I should have the next one ready, but I don't. So stall for a minute here. Next one is a bit longer, I'm sure. That was the second supplemental.
Hey, just listen, chat. When I read like that, it's not my fault, okay? RA said, and this is for Samantha Terry and the mods, a recovery addict said very specifically flowery language. So I'm just reading it how RA told me to, okay? Not my fault.
Flowery.
I'm pretty sure I didn't say that.
Flowery.
Well, listen, recovery addict, it's my story. I get to tell it however I like, okay?
I'm just glad you're here to help tell the story, Thal.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see. Whose turn? Well, if I promise to put the words on the screen, whose turn is up next? There we go.
I'll go next.
Okay, so what we have here is the affidavit of juror Doe. And this is a big document, so we're going to take turns all the way around on this one. And we're not reading all of it. It's about 37 pages total, but about half of that is motion. And obviously, if anyone has to go or jump off, just wave at me and like, yay, thanks, and know that I appreciate you being on here helping read. And have a great day. But Allie, you said you were going to start?
Oh, sure.
Start.
Unless, Debbie wants to. Go ahead,
okay.
Debbie.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Okay. Affidavit of Juror Doe. Now comes Juror Doe, a pseudonym who on oath deposes and says as follows. 1. I am of legal age and have personal knowledge of the facts set forth herein. 2. I was a member of the jury that was seated in the recently concluded trial in the above captioned case. 3. I just retained counsel to represent me.
That makes me sad.
Yeah, me too. 4. I have read the impoundment order entered by Superior Court Associate Justice Beverly J. Cannoni on July 8, 2024, which found that good cause exists to impound the list identifying the names of impaneled jurors in the trial of this case. 5. As I read the court's order, it is scheduled to expire on July 18th unless it is extended by the court. 6. I submit this affidavit in support of my request to extend the impoundment order entered on July 8th. 7. I am asking that the impoundment order be extended indefinitely because I am in fear of my personal safety and the personal safety of my family if the names of the jury are made public. 8. I have read the impoundment order and noted on the very first page that individuals associated with this case have been charged criminally with intimidation. I am frightened for my personal safety as a result of learning that someone associated with this case has been criminally charged with intimidation. 9. I also recall testimony from at least one witness who described being harassed by individuals and her family being harassed because of their involvement in this case. I do not know any of the specifics of any such harassment, but I fear that my family and I will not only be harassed if the names of the jurors are made public, but that our personal safety will be seriously compromised. I'm going to stop there, but I want to make a comment. They should have never allowed the harassment talk in the trial.
Exactly. This infuriates me actually because it should have never been mentioned, and Turtle Boy is not even like convicted of it yet, or whatever. The point is,
Yeah.
they scared them for no
innocent
reason.
unless proven
Yes.
guilty.
Yeah.
But they're using his charge as a fuel for this argument.
Yes.
I'm scared. Okay, I'll go. 10. During jury deliberations, we could hear protesters outside screaming and yelling. 11.
That is insane.
During our jury service, the members of the jury would meet at what was supposed to be a secret location to be transported to and from the courthouse by bus. After being discharged from jury service on July 1st, 2024, we were taken by bus back to what was supposed to have been a secret location where we observed what appeared to be members of the media, including photographers. I was such in fear on my way home that I pulled over to the side of the road to see if I was being followed. Thankfully, I was not being followed, but that was and remains my mindset. If juror names are made public, we will be constantly threatened and harassed, and there will likely be a physical confrontation at some point. Really? Okay.
Let me look at this. This may be an irrational fear. There's nothing in here that says that media was there filming them or taking their pictures. When they got to the bus, they got off the bus to get to their cars, they could see members of the media. That's all she's saying. And I was so much in fear on the way home that I just pulled over to see if I was being followed, which I wasn't. This may be an irrational fear.
Okay, I'll do a little more, then I'll turn it over to Thaw.
Real quick, I did find something, guys, where what they might do is house everybody in a central location like a hotel, and then use U.S. Marshals to police their location. That's the only thing I could find.
So go back to sequestering the jury.
Yeah,
it means trial gets a lot more expensive, and it's much more inconvenient for jury members. It makes it harder to seat a jury because you need to have no obligations outside of court that depend solely upon you, family members, and the like. You end up excluding a big portion of the population that way. Usually parents with kids are excluded from the jury if you do that. But
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, 12. Since being discharged from jury service on July 1st, 2024, I've read multiple news articles about the case and the attention that this case gained across Massachusetts, New England, and the country. There are clearly people who have very strong opinions and about the case and about the jurors who deliberated over many days. I've seen articles, comments to articles, and postings about the verdict saying some very nasty and dangerous things. Some individuals have expressed outrage and anger that the jury did not acquit the defendant. Some individuals have expressed outrage and anger that the jury did not find the defendant guilty. 14. Just yesterday, I read in this article in Boston Globe with the headline, Karen Reed case ended in a mistrial. But the diehards haven't given up yet. See Exhibit 1. In approximately the 12th paragraph of this article, an administrator of a Karen Reed Focus Face group was quoted as saying, the people who were on the fringe of being interested in it are now engulfed. The anger level was at a 9 before, and now it's at an 11.5. The article characterized this increase as a rising rage.
So,
wow.
I don't know.
I'll keep going.
The only thing they haven't listed in here is something they read on Reddit, but maybe we'll come to that too. So we'll see. You want to do one more, and then we'll let
take over at 16. 15. Later in the July 15 Boston Globe article, another individual interviewed by the reporter stated, people are insane about this case. If they don't agree with you, they'll try to dox you. I understand the term dox to mean that individuals will publicize someone's personal information, including someone's residential address, occupation, business address, etc. Publicizing my personal information in this context exposes me and my family to unwanted and likely surprise encounters with strangers who likely have an axe to grind with any juror.
Or maybe a physical axe. Yeah, I think she was worried about the physical axe.
Dang.
Yeah. Okay. Thal, you're up.
All right, so drama queens away. I have seen social media posts that were very demeaning of and attacking the integrity of the trial judge. If someone is going to attack a sitting judge, I see no reason why they would not demean and attack verbally, physically, a juror who sat on this trial. I understand that there are individuals who were upset that the impoundment order was entered and that they are actively seeking to identify all of the jurors. For example, my attorneys have made me aware, posted by a blogger journalist whom I understand to be a person who has been charged with witness intimidation related to the case. Speaking about the trial and the jury's inability to remain unanimous verdict on all accounts after the trial, in the video, the blogger initially states that he has identified the foreperson in the case. Not only does the blogger state that he has identified the jury foreperson, but also where this person lives and what this person does for a living. A linked video can be found here in this video. The blogger demands to know the identity of the expletive idiot on this jury who did not vote in his preferred manner. And further that, whoever did that subverted justice. Like they helped cover up for a murder. And as far as I'm concerned, blank 'em, that's what I think.
I managed to get the edit in there just in time.
Yep.
Wow.
Can I keep going?
Keep going.
Okay.
Yep.
The blogger states in another video posted to X, who outed the Chestnut juror. Remember that? The one who hung Michael Chestnut trial in July. The jury lists are public. So I got to the jury list and I went down the list and I found the juror who hung the jury and I shamed her. As I should, because it's shameful. I understand the above mentioned blogger has been accused of harassing witnesses to the case, including by organized crowds of people to harass them outside their houses. And I'm aware that he has made statements in the blog from 2023 to that effect.
All right, I'm slow on the scrolling here.
Okay, that's fine. Excuse me.
That affects to the effect of, here it is.
Oh, to the effect of, okay. Murderers and those who cover for them do not deserve to live comfortable life with Karen Reed, suffers and fights for justice for John O'Keefe.
Okay, so hold up here. What I'm seeing is every complaint is pointing to Turtle Boy. There was a Facebook posting somewhere, but all the threats, all the fear is pointing towards one person,
which is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we would. I mean, wouldn't the solution be to solve the problem with that one person, whether it be legally or otherwise, instead of change the system to make the jury private, the jury list private? That's just my.
Well,
anyway.
The thing is too is that it's written extremely dramatically.
No, that was you, Thal. That was.
Oh, okay.
He's already charged with witness intimidation. What else are they going to do?
Yeah, I think that case needs to play out. I haven't even followed, exactly what he's accused of doing or saying or where he crossed the line. I think I will say that I don't think the tone of the discussion outside the courtroom specifically that's he and some other notable people have engaged in has been helpful to the situation. Okay. Although I will acknowledge that a lot of us may not have ever heard of this trial if he hadn't. So
he's not threatening any jurors. Like, he hasn't even said anything to any of them. So I don't know why they're freaking out.
Well, that day he went to Canton and they were threatening him. I still blame that on him because he didn't need to be there. He knew he'd run into somebody. And he was out on bond from the witness intimidation. So that was stupid on his part.
I think there could have been some better decisions made.
Well, either way you cut it, he sounds like an agitator doing for attention.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm different on this. I don't have a problem with him. I think we wouldn't have known about this, but anyway.
I agree that I mean, I don't know. I need more information, but if he has a restraining order where he's not supposed to be somebody, and he chooses to go patronize the business that's right next door to where they expect those people to be, that might be a poor decision on his part. But other than that, you know, he's still innocent unless he's proven guilty in a court of law. So,
well, and when you think about it, protection orders protection orders always include the do not talk to this person, but they also include do not come within 150 feet of this person or this business. You know, so that's
yeah. But anyway, we won't go into much.
Yeah.
Let me read a little bit.
Okay.
If, as he stated, this blogger believes that members of the jury on which I served helped cover up for a murder, and he further believes that those who cover for murderers are legitimate targets of harassment, I fully expect that members of this jury will be subjected to efforts to harass and shame them with very real probability that some physical confrontation will inevitably occur. My concerns are not limited to a particular blogger or to a particular side of this case. I'm aware that there are other outspoken bloggers, commentators, and groups of people who wished for the jury verdict on some or all charges against the defendant. I am aware that there have been physical confrontations between the two sides of supporters. An example of this is from two recent postings by an individual who appears to be a reporter for New Bedford. In today's post, she stated that she was in court today defending against a harassment charge against her and her pursuit of a counter-harassment charge. Yesterday, this reporter posted about getting protection from another blogger. While I do not know the facts concerning these court appearances, it's very evident that the individuals on all sides in this case have acted irrationally and aggressively over the past few years, which has caused multiple court appearances by parties seeking protection of the courts from the other individuals. This is very astute. Yes, it is on both sides. It's over the top. It's too much. It's a problem. 25. Debbie, are you up again?
Sure. In light of the mistrial, there is no end in sight to this irrational behavior, which clearly continues today. Jurors will undoubtedly be subjected to harassment and likely physical confrontation if their names are made public. 26. My affidavit and motion should not be interpreted as indicating how I or any other juror voted on this case or how I or any other juror feel about this case. Every member of the jury, regardless of how they voted, is likely to face backlash from a segment of the large portion of the public who intensely followed this case. I wish to remain anonymous, and I bring this motion on behalf of myself and any other juror who does not wish to be identified, regardless of whether or not we agreed during our deliberations. 27. It was an honor to serve on the jury. It also was a significant sacrifice of time, which I understood and anticipated when I was selected. What I did not anticipate, however, was the likelihood that I and other members of the jury would become targets of intense public scrutiny and likely harassment campaigns strictly due to the outcome of our private deliberations. 28. If jury names are made public, I will be subject to nonstop requests for comment about jury deliberations. I would prefer to not have to respond to these inquiries. However, what I fear is not only will I be subject to requests for interviews, but that I will be targeted and harassed because of what I did or did not do on that jury. I fear that verbal harassment will likely lead to physical confrontation and physical harm. I am not prepared or equipped to anticipate and prepare for any surprise personal attack. More importantly, I fear that I will not be able to protect myself and my family. Signed under the penalties of perjury, the 16th day of July, 2024, Juror Doe. I wonder if it's more that last thing. Don't want people wanting interviews all the time.
Yeah, that would be very likely. I mean, the media was definitely going to reach out afterwards. We're going to scroll through some of these exhibits. We're not going to read all of them because they're like screenshots of like newspapers. Karen Reed case ended in a mistrial, but the diehards haven't given up. This was referenced in there. The judge in the Karen Reed trial declared a mistrial. It triggered a cliffhanger and in some an even deeper obsession. And then you've got this great black and white version of what was probably a high resolution photograph at one time. From the Boston Globe, story out of the Boston Globe.
And real quick, just for clarification on my take on Turtle Boy, because I didn't watch a lot of his coverage or any of his coverage. honestly. I saw the thing confrontation with the next door business or whatever. But other than that, I think that Turtle, when I say agitator, what I'm talking about is that I think that he went down as a social media personality does and tried to capture a story. And you never know what's going to get caught on fire and get blown up. It got blown up. I think it got away from him. I don't think he knew how to handle it. I think that's pretty much what happened.
But I think watch the whole story before you judge, because it's pretty deep in the corruption that goes along with what they're doing to him.
I'm not saying
no.
anything about that. I'm just saying that as far as YouTubers go and live coverage goes, I know how all this works, and this is the game we play. So it's one of those things that I could very honestly see it getting away from him being like, oh crap, you know what I mean? Or
I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he just is like pushy, I guess maybe is the word for it.
And
his personal style might not be to my liking, but I think
he's
large part what he did was very important.
Yeah.
He brought eyes to something that was flying under the radar, which to him and to a lot of other people, something was wrong. There was a cover up. There was a conspiracy. There was, I think anyone who sees that happening in their community or around them has a duty to sort of inform their neighbor about this and saying, hey, get involved, check this out, look at what's really happening here. And he did that. And he did that in a way that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, especially the authorities that he was saying were doing things wrong. And he didn't back down. That's I think probably the biggest thing, because they did try to, I think the state took steps to try to silence him. Okay, they arrested him, held him in jail for a long time.
That's exactly what they want to do. That's exactly what they want to do, because they're all corrupt. The corrupt ones are the ones that arrested him. It's all crazy. So, yeah.
I mean, even those of us that haven't followed the out of court things that happened, there's enough that was just revealed in court that things look shady.
Yeah,
things look bad, and not everything that is out there was allowed in court. There were a lot of things that never came out in court before the jury. I struggle.
And to be perfectly honest, Starry, if we want to boil everything down with Turtle and everything else all the way down to the nub of the situation of the cause, if the cops hadn't screwed up and done what they did, none of this would have happened. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to boil it all the way and get really what's the nub here, that's the nub. If the cops hadn't screwed up, no problem.
There's a turtle in this advertisement. I just thought that was funny. Ads and pop-ups driving you mad. Ad free for $10 a month. That's just funny. That's in the middle of that. Anyway, this is continuing the Boston Globe story that's attached as an exhibit. I don't think
the night or the afternoon that thing happened in Canton with him, they kept harassing him because he was standing there waiting for the cops to get there, because he called the cops. Because when you have a restraining order, if they talk to you, you have to call the cops. But it would have been smarter to just go get in his car and leave. But he stood there to call the cops. And so they kept yelling at him. And then they called somebody, I think it's Colin's godmother came and drove up there and grabbed his phone and threw it out in the street. It would have been better if he had just gotten his car and left, instead of waiting for the cops to come get there, because the restraining order thing was at risk or whatever. So it just made it worse.
Well, the thing is if you don't have a restraining order, even if a protester's yelling at you, you have every right to stand there as much as they do to yell. So, yeah, it may have de-escalated the situation. It may have been wise, but there's nothing wrong, quote unquote, legally with it. As long as, I don't know what Turtle Boy's situation at that point was, though, so I have no idea.
He was just standing there, and they were back and forth, different people coming at him, but he was standing there waiting for the police. And I just kept saying, when I was watching the video, I was just like, go get in your car. Why are you, But he was standing there waiting for the police to show up, like they were going to do anything, because the police is corrupt in Canton. So,
well, Debbie, back to your point though, was it smart for him to do it? Probably not. Does he have every right to do it? Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, he does. He does.
But yeah, it doesn't mean it was bright.
Yeah, I'm talking about, was it an intelligent idea? Yeah. Was it a smart thing to do? No. But did he have the right to do it? Yes.
Yeah, like I mess with the mods. Is that smart? Absolutely not. Will I pay for it? Dearly, but it's fun.
This the other attachments that I've been scrolling through as we've been talking are screenshots. One was the post on, I believe, Turtle Boy's website or blog, and then a couple posts on X with some exchanges back and forth. And these were just things that were cited during this motion. So that brings us all the way to the, believe it or not, 6th document already. Give me just a second to get that one pulled out.
Wow, we went through those faster than I thought we were going to.
This is a little bit shorter, so that's good. I think the last one, let's see, where's it at? Wait for it.
That's because I'm keeping the distractions to a minimum.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. All right, here's our last one. This one I'm going to bring on the screen in just 1 second is a... Can you guys hear my mouse? Does that annoy you? This sound?
No.
Okay. This is a proposed findings and order on John Doe's emergency motion to extend, and this is from the court, I believe. This is the motion to extend the July 8th impoundment order, and it had to be done on the 18th ahead of this because anytime after the 18th, so like today, the 19th, if they waited to handle this issue to keep the name secret until Monday, legally, if I or anyone else approached the court and said, I need a list of those jurors, they'd have to give it to me because the order to keep them secret had expired. So they did this on July 18th. This matter came before the court on the emergency motion of Juror Doe to extend the July 8th impoundment order entered by the court. Upon review of the motion and supporting documents, including the affidavit of Juror Doe, the court makes the following findings and order. 1, this case has garnered significant and divisive. Oh, I've got a spam call, guys.
Do it.
Hold on
do
one
it.
second.
Do it. Do it.
Okay. Hello? Hello?
Are you there?
Hello? I think it's a robot. Hello? Man. Sorry, guys. We were going to have like a four-way spam call. It would have been great. It would have been great. So here are the findings. They hung up. This case, they usually call back again within a couple seconds from a different number. So we'll see if we get a second one. This case has garnered significant and divisive attention in Massachusetts and across the nation. Individuals associated with this case have been charged with intimidation, which charges remain pending. That's individuals, plural, and I believe there are some on both sides. Juror Doe has submitted a detailed affidavit, which I find to be credible. Juror Doe is in reasonable fear for their safety and the safety of their family if the list of jurors is made available to the public. Through his affidavit, he says, that's the first time we know it's a him. Juror Doe has established that publication of the list identifying the names of the impaneled jurors will present a real and present risk of personal harm to jurors and the integrity of their service. Through their affidavit, Juror Doe has established that there is a continuing risk of immediate and irreparable injury should the jury list be made available to the public at this time. And through their affidavit, Juror Doe has established good cause to extend the impoundment order dated July 8th, 2024 until and unless otherwise ordered by the court. That is indefinite. This order shall not preclude any juror from identifying himself or herself and or from speaking to the public about his or her jury service. So now the list is impounded. My question is, what's the reach of this? It says so ordered and there's no signature there. There should be a signature there for this to be valid. If that has not been signed, the order has not been carried out and it's not granted.
Is that what they're doing to Monday?
No, if that means right now anybody can get the list and the court would have to give it out.
Oh.
Wow. Well, I know we got raided by a group. I think, was it Broken Baker and the bakers that came in here? I missed it. We were reading a document and I saw the jump on the number of people in the room. But I missed who it was, so I know a thank you somewhere. But all right, thoughts. I think we just lost Allie. Hey, Mrs. RA is back. We just barely finished document number 6. We made really good time as soon as you left. I'm sorry.
Coincidence?
I think not.
Yay, boss is here.
Yes, we have to start behaving now.
What?
Paul's like, behave does not compute.
All right.
Okay, so sorry, I have been gone to totally ignore everybody else's needs here, but can somebody summarize what happened?
Lots of complaints about. Let's see. Let me move this over so you can see everything.
I read fantastically in recovery.
Did you?
Never give me a head pat. Yes, I did.
Good job, though.
Didn't give me a
Good
head
job.
pat.
Who's a
or
good boy? Who's a good boy?
Yeah, the chat's mad at me
Oh,
No.
why?
because I disparaged Turtle Boy a little bit for going to Canton.
I'll say this again. I disagree with how he did things. I think some of what he did harmed media access, harmed the case. I think it was bad. I think it harms media in the future in other cases. Okay. But at the same time, I don't think any of us would be invested in this case or be interested in this case if it weren't for what he did early on, way back when nobody was talking about Karen Reed and John O'Keefe. So I disagree with how he did it, but I think it was very important that he did what he did.
Yeah.
So I hate to make this all about me, but I can't help but notice on your little timeline thing, there's a huge spike of when people joined. Was that when I left?
No, I think that was Broken Baker rating us.
No. Let's be honest. It's when I came on the call. That's when
And
No,
those people didn't leave when I came on. I'm happy.
We're good.
Yep. I do want to thank Debbie, Allie B from Tennessee, and Exemplar of Readingthal, all from being here. Oh, Allie B, I was just thanking you, and there you came on with a thank me. Thanks for letting me read. That was fun. No, your comments didn't offend anybody. What we love about this is that we do come from different viewpoints, and we can look at the situation and be on different sides and have a rational conversation. At the end of the day, we can still disagree and still be friends. I think now more than ever, the world needs this. The world needs platforms where we can talk and disagree and listen, and sometimes change our mind if we find that we're in the wrong. And that's it. And if we don't change our mind, it's all right. We can still keep talking about other things.
Yeah.
So,
I really appreciate.
Thank you, Allie.
Just talking to people who disagree with me. Who have a different opinion on
Thal,
something.
mostly.
Yes, I like talking with Thal. No, I think.
Hold on.
But
What is wrong with you?
But that we can. It just really isn't about our relationship. It's the ability to say, well, I think this and you think that. And it's like, okay, that's okay. Our relationship is still awesome.
Yep.
I think Allie B did a great job.
Excellent. And she stopped driving to do it. This is like somebody feeling the call to serve went out. I said, I need help with reading. And she's like, I know I'm on the way to some appointment or something I've got to schedule, but I will pull over and do it. So, Allie B, you are an example for the rest of us. Thank you so much. Love the very faint, but I love the accent.
And I will humbly admit, recovery addict, that Allie B is much prettier than I am.
I was going to
It's
say
hard. It's hard, but I admit that. I will admit that completely.
I think everyone here is prettier than the two.
Yeah, but
of us.
with the
Debbie, Allie,
the
thank you.
picture of Pellegrino though is
Whoa, that's
is
not your
deceiving.
picture. Oh, that's not
No,
your
that's not him.
That's my picture. I don't know what you're talking about. It's the perfect avatar for me. If you know,
Out of bed first thing in the morning, even.
if
Did
you
I
know,
blow your cover?
if you know, whoa, God, what is it called? If you know what Supernatural is, this is the perfect avatar for me.
Yeah, that's Lucifer on Supernatural, everybody.
Oh, is it? That's funny. Okay, so I still haven't heard a summary though. What happened?
So basically, what they want to do in the court is they want to have the defense is trying, and guys, correct me where I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The gist I took from it was the defense wants the counts 1 and 3 scrubbed out, and so the state can't use them anymore to come after Karen Reed, because the prior jury found on all these juries found that on count 1 and 3 she was not guilty. They just never informed the little line thingy. Problem is the way I hear it for around the water cooler from other lawyer channels, though, is that the courts won't do that because that's messing with deliberations in the jury room, and that's a huge, massive no-no. So more than likely, since they didn't do anything, the state will be allowed to do whatever it wants to do. However, the consensus is also that the state should, have a spine and have good morals and just not go for 1 and 3 again.
Yeah.
Wow, I disagree with that.
They can't just not go for it. Otherwise that would leaves them out there. She could still be charged again.
Yeah.
They need to either double jeopardy applies or it doesn't.
Yeah, and the process that seems most logical to me is to bring the jurors in, ask them all, was this your verdict? If they all say yes, I get it. Here's okay. Sorry, I'll finish that thought. And if they all say yes, then you have to acquit her of those charges. I understand the challenge with this is that it came about afterward. Therefore, we don't know how much of what the jurors are telling us now is tainted by what they experienced after being out and being able to hear everything that was going on. Did they change their minds after they were no longer officially on the jury and are now saying this?
I think they didn't change their mind. I think the bigger issue is that for that to take place, the judge is going to have to admit that she did something wrong.
You think her pride will stop this?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
That would be nefarious.
The judges rule in their courtroom. It's like they sit on the highest chair, right? They're
Literally
ruling over their little domain within those walls. They're judge, jury, and executioner in some situations. They can throw you in jail if they don't like how you're behaving in their court. They can kick you out of their court.
Yeah.
They have a lot of power. And this is making Judge Beverly Canoni say, I screwed up. I should have asked you where you agreed.
Okay, so then let's look at it from I feel so frustrated with that, and I want to hit it right square on and say that's wrong. But let's think of it more diplomatically. How could this be approached that would enable her to save face and still have justice be served? Which I think it is just if they came to a conclusion, a unanimous decision that she should be found not guilty on those counts that they were unanimous on. How could this be approached so that she's still king in her kingdom, but also justice is served?
I don't know, thoughts?
My only working theory is, and I haven't heard this from anyone, but my working theory is if I'm the judge and I've got that big of an ego trip, then what I want to do is I either want to dismiss it and say, no, I didn't do anything wrong. However, I think the judge has a modicum of honesty in her about it. So I would say at least a modicum, if not more, I should say. But the thing is that I think what happens is I tell the defense, take it to an appellate court, take it to appeals, right? And then have the appeals court tell the appeals court, I'll stand in and tell you what I think happened, give you my opinion on it, and I'll let you guys decide. Because then it takes it off of her hands. She's not admitting anything, but she's done what she can to alleviate. You know what I mean?
Appellate courts, appeals courts, any higher court, they like to make sure that they're in the right before they make a ruling, because they don't like reversing things, right? They're very hesitant to act as like a general rule. So I think what's going to happen is we'll have the hearing on Monday and a decision will be made. Karen Reed's probably not going to be happy with that decision. Right. I think that's the safe bet. And then you can say, okay, now because the court has taken this action, we feel it's a mistake because of XYZ. That would then be appealed up to the appellate court on an emergency hearing basis, because this trial would start again in a month, basically. And then if the appellate court felt that was a problem, then there would be a remedy that was passed down, said, yeah, the court did err. But I don't think they're going to pick it up right now. I think they'll wait to see if the court fixes it themselves, because that's their preference. If the court fixes the problem, they're like, hey, it's moot. They screwed up, but they fixed it. So there's no need for us to wade in and stir the pot, which the appellate court doesn't like doing.
But the problem is you're breaking 87 case law if you question what happens inside the jury room. As soon as you do that, you're unlocking Pandora's box on a major component that's never been touched in 200 years. So what I could see the judge say is, I'm going to rule against you, defense, and what I want you to do is immediately tell me we're going to do emergency appeal, and then we'll stop everything, and then I'll go and testify to the appellate. That's why I'm saying the game has to be played that way. That way it's on the appellate court, it's not on her head, because if they go that route, it's going to go up to the Supreme Court, and we're going to be waiting 3-4 years, if ever, because the Supreme Court doesn't have to hear what they don't want to hear.
So you're saying that from Judge Beverly's point of view, it would be better to have the appellate court judge rule against her than it would be for her to voluntarily say, oh yeah, my bad, let's just fix that.
Yes, because the problem isn't her looking bad. The problem is the case law itself. And so at that point, I think what she's going to do is go, no way, that's too way big of a hairy duck for me to mess with. If the defense wants to play with it, I'm not going to be forced in the corner to play with this thing. I want the appeals court to play with this thing. That way it's on their head for messing with this hairy little Pandora. No one can blame me.
I wonder.
She wouldn't recuse herself.
No.
Friends with these people. I think she did it on purpose. I don't think it was an oversight or an accident
And it could have been because she went really fast. And the thing is, the water cooler talk, to your point, Debbie, was also consensus across everybody that I watched, which is like 8 different people on this subject, 8 different lawyers. Was the consensus is why did she not stop and go any objections, prosecution, defense? Because almost everyone to a T said that like a parrot. They were all like, what was that? So yeah, it's one of those things that apparently this is not normal. This was not a normal practice. She should have stopped. She didn't. So I'm not saying you're right, Debbie. I'm just saying that, yeah, it's kind of weird that we just gloss over that and run past it.
I've heard it both ways. I've also heard that the form she used was standard, and that this is the process juries have used across Massachusetts for years or decades or something like that.
And one lawyer said, because the judge said, don't fill out anything until you've decided on every count. And everybody said, well, Bev did that, gave that instruction, and that confused him. But one lawyer said, no, the lawyers are the one who writes the jury instructions. She was just reading what the lawyers wrote. So it wasn't her fault.
No, I heard that on this one, they only saw the jury instructions like after the jury had gone back. That's why Jackson was like, hey, whoa, looking at the jury instructions, and this isn't very clear, this very specific thing. So they hadn't written it. Otherwise, he would have seen it.
That's what the chat tried to tell him. And he was like, no, that's not how it works. Lawyers right there. So we were like, not this time.
Normally they do. That's true.
I was going to say that the way I understand it is the judge has leeway to write those instructions inside a context, and she can write them any way she wants inside the format of what's legally provided by the state. She can reformat that.
And I think she misled them to believe she was going to write them one way, and then she went home and then came back and wrote them a different way.
Well, hold on. Before we get to that, though, we got to stop for a second, because the caveat to that is that the prosecution and the defense, and this is as far as the way I understand it, can make suggestions to the court about what they want in it in addition, or minus subtraction from it. Now, the judge can either do that or not do that. That is totally her discretion. But she's the one that actually writes this, and she's the one that actually approves or disapproves of the editing that the defense or prosecution wants. So back to your point, Debbie, she could have done that, right? But it makes probably more sense that it was just, it's this whole muddled mess of just her trying to do what she wanted to do, and then the prosecution and defense maybe just didn't kick up in the right editorial notes.
Yeah, because Alan Jackson stood up and said, I thought we were doing it this way. And she, before you went home for the weekend, and she said, no, I said I would think about it over the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he thought it was going to be something different than it was.
I think, Thal, you bringing up that this is a Pandora's box is an idea that I had not considered before, that it can be looked at from an angle that this isn't really just saying, oh, whoops, okay, hang on, that wasn't clear, let's just fix it. And more of a long-term view of, if you go messing with a verdict after the thing is done, that is a Pandora's box. That is a dangerous precedent to set. And I have such strong feelings on precedent for this reason.
Yeah, no, I love watching the Supreme Court argue about things. And when you look at when you watch the Supreme Court, it'll help your mind because the thing is that Supreme Court works like a game of dominoes, is the way I like to explain it to people. It's not so much that that the case in front of them is X or Y. You know what I mean? That's not really what's going on. I mean, it is, but at the same time, it's about how X or Y dominoes and hits everything else in the club. So you can't make a ruling on X or Y and in a vacuum and be like, okay, this is fine, it doesn't affect anything else, when actually it dominoes 18 other things and destroys all the case law and all this case law.
Constitutionally, you can. The Constitution says that the Supreme Court is to judge the cases. It is not to create laws, and it is not to set precedents that act like laws. It is just to look at each individual case and rule on that specific case. So that's how they're supposed to do it.
Well, no. The thing is you're right, and I'm agreeing with you. I think where the miscommunication we're having is that I'm saying that you can't say yes, this law is approved, and then the next law it hits, and it's a domino result, like 3-4 down, says, oh, well, now we have a contradiction. Which one's right?
Yes, you're
that's
right.
What I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I am agreeing with you. When I speak forcefully, it's not because I'm disagreeing, just because this is how it should be, right? That it is already written in the Constitution, which governs the Supreme Court, that the way that they are supposed to function is to judge things on a case-by-case basis. And so case law goes directly against that and says, well, we're just going to judge it not on this case against the Constitution, but on this case based on where it falls in the web of all of the other decisions that have been made through all time. I'm like, what a mess.
Oh, yeah.
And the chat just corrected me. That was the jury form that I was talking about, not the jury instructions.
Right. Don't listen to chat. Chat's crazy. I love chat, but they're not.
They will eat you up, Thal, and spit out little pieces.
And you think I don't like the abuse?
Something wrong with you, Thal.
So Monday we find out.
You all knew that.
I think what might actually fix this is if they just agree, if the judge just says, hey, or if the state says we're not going to charge her again. All this sort of just, it doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't fix the problem, but it gets rid of the possibility of any sort of appeal and the court coming and wading in and pointing the finger of blame. If they just decide not to prosecute again, it just goes away.
But that would require a level of maturity that I don't know if that is at play here, because that would require them. There is some self-interest there that they could say, man, we have just been drugged through the mud on this one. Let's be done with it. But they have endless resources through taxation. And Karen Reed does not have endless resources. They can wait her out. They can starve her out.
Kay Bytel, I see you in the green room. Do you have a camera? I can't see.
What? We have to be on camera?
Apparently, you don't.
I heard that Karen Reed was selling her house too to get, I guess, extra money for the next round.
That's sad.
Yeah, fun fact. I heard from a Canadian lawyer. What's his name? Garfunkel. Anyway,
Ian Runkle.
Oh,
that guy. There we go.
Runkle is
Call him
available.
Garfunkel?
Yeah, whatever, dude. I don't know. That's
You're
weird.
starting a war with Canada here.
Which has never been achieved.
I'm scared. Nebraska alone could take them out. Are you kidding me? They're basically the French in new colors.
Paul's
anyway,
opinions do not represent those of the channel.
I like Canada.
Runkle's an awesome guy.
Well, that's the first thing wrong with you. That's the first thing wrong with your opinion. Anyway,
Ian has been nothing but a friend. I refuse to accept this abuse.
Ian's great.
But he was making a really good point that in Canada they don't have jeopardy, so you can be retried by the state 18 times until they.
Are you serious?
Yep. According to him, yeah.
That's terrifying.
They did it to a guy where he was charged with murder and they retried him like 6 times or something.
Oh my gosh.
I think we have another voice only person to bring in. Kay Bytel, are you?
Hello. Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
What? Yeah, we can hear you. Can you give us? I don't have an image from you.
I'm from Canada.
Wonderful. Perfect. We need some Canadian representation here, opposing Thal's
nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh God.
What are your thoughts here?
The crown can keep charging until they get the.
Man, what's the recourse? I mean, does that happen?
I think he may have fallen off.
Oh no.
I don't know.
It's happened quite a few times. Talk to Ian.
And so, first of all, let me ask. This is how little I know about Canada's court system. Do you have jury system like we do down here?
Mm-hmm.
I think we've got. Okay. Well, that was really loud. I'm not sure. I had to remove you there. It might have been music that would get us a quick strike. K Bytel, the connection's really, really bad. I apologize. Interesting. I think we will have to talk to Ian a little bit about that, but it sounds terrifying, first of all, because you've got somebody with unlimited funds, like my wife was saying, that can pursue an issue endlessly and bankrupt you in the process. Let's see.
Calypson.
Amber.
Thal.
Yes, dear.
I'll just let you go, Amber. You've got free reign. Go ahead.
Yeah, just.
Do you want me to mute Thal for this?
Out on Monday for like 24 hours. Okay.
Oh. I was going to ask what did I do, but I'm going to ask instead what didn't I do. That's the
that would be
shorter
more
version of
charges. That would be more appropriate.
Yeah. Just for the record, we've been talking about Ian and Runkle of the Bailey. Runkle of the Bailey is his channel on YouTube. He's a great. He is the Gandalf of true crime. Is who he is. He's absolutely amazing. Just a fun guy. You get what you get with him, and he doesn't sugarcoat it sometimes, and he loves spicy stuff. By spicy, I mean literally hot pepper.
He makes his own hot sauce too. That he
because
is
no one else makes it hot enough.
Yeah.
Scott makes his own salsa. It's not as it's like flavorful. I love it.
Ian would think it's considered ketchup.
I like the cilantro.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's Ian. We're not saying anything negative about him. Hope he doesn't feel
There's
like
a gaming channel too.
We're not saying anything negative about Ian. Did you hear that?
Oh, I wasn't. I was saying nasty things about Canadians. I was
nice.
Okay, Thal, it's been good.
Oh. I'll behave.
The last straw, just for the record. Last straw.
Hey, boss.
Yeah.
Hey, boss. Kim
You got
R
more
had a
documents?
question. She asked. No, she asked me if I could ask it or draw attention, and I'm still trying to find the question. So
Okay.
Kim R has a question.
Kim,
maybe
she
type
says,
it in again.
"Oh, we love you, Thal." That's it. Tackle hugs. Let me look and see. Kim, type your question one more time. I'll see if I can watch it. I'm scrolling back to see if it's.
I've started doing tackle hugs on other chats, and nobody responds.
They look at you funny.
Call the police.
It's a Thal thing.
Well, the things for everybody to
Get away with it. Why can't I do it to people?
I'll explain this once so everybody understands. Tackle hugs came about because I love Calvin and Hobbes, the cartoon. And so tackle hugs and struggle snuggles. If you look at Calvin and Hobbes, when he comes home from school and he gets tackled by Hobbes, they roll and then Calvin's laying on his back, you know what I mean? All busted up, and Hobbes is sitting there just licking his paw like nothing's wrong. That's what tackle. I'm just excited to see you is what I'm saying.
I know
Broken
what
Baker.
tackle hug is.
Broken Baker, welcome. Thanks for rating us, by the way. Says, don't hit on the Canadians. That's what the Swedes are for. For the Swedes hate the Canadians, or we're supposed to hate on the Swedes?
We hate on the Swedes.
Sure which one.
I like the Swedes too.
K Bytel says, what would happen if all the jurors stated that they all convicted her of all counts? If they all convicted her of counts 1 and 3, but were hung on 2?
If it flipped it.
Ooh, yeah. So
that's
reverse
a
the
good
position.
question.
This is
How could she be guilty of both 1 and
No, but
2?
I don't think it's that. I think it's it's a really great way of figuring out what your hang up is on a question is if you reverse the players or reverse the position or
Reverse
what
the
would you
roles,
do if the races were reversed or if the genders were reversed or if whatever. So if you reverse it and then you have an opposite response, you're like, oh, my problem isn't about the jury, trying to protect the sanctity of the jury. I actually have a problem with letting them win type of thing. So that's a good question.
I wish we had an answer to it. But
No, I don't know.
But it's one of those that we won't be able to see. We've got a couple other comments I need to bring up here a little bit. This one was for Thal earlier. I'm not sure if you saw this. Melodramatic bunch. Thank you very much, Chloe.
Always.
Mag in Florida says, first, pizza delivery man knocked his phone out of his hands. Cops called. They're talking about Turtle Boy. Then Jen did the same thing. Both pizza guy and Jen are charged with assault.
No, it says both the pizza guy and Jen. Are they charged with assault, or they did charge with assault?
I think they're charged. There are charges all over the place on this. It's crazy, and there's everyone has their own version of the video. Allie, thank you so much. You did a great job. Welcome on anytime. Appreciate your help today, and love your sharing your opinion, even if it disagrees with other people. Thank you for doing that. ACDCS, I think you texted my wife a picture of a roof inspector wearing a kilt and you were on the ground taking pictures. Is that what it was? I can't share those.
He's up on the top of the roof, just checking out the roof, wearing a kilt. I'm like, okay, did we think this one through?
Hey, it's very cool.
Very breezy.
People, when I wear a kilt, everyone asks what you wear underneath, and it's actually not really exciting. It's socks and shoes like everybody else. All right. Where were we? Selena Carr, by the way, thank you for gifting a membership as well. All right. What we have coming up, first of all, it's the weekend. It's time for us to go to a break. I hope all of you have some great plans for things that are coming up. Fun things to do with people you love would be like the number one plan, I think, for anything. Do we have anything?
That's not our plan.
I look over to my wife, who I love. We need a plan.
We do have a plan, but it's really not doing fun things.
Last time we cleaned the car. Okay.
Oh my goodness. It seemed like a really good idea on paper.
We clean the car every time we A, sell the car, or B. No, that's the only time we clean it. It's when we sell it.
We're going on a trip, right? So we're cleaning one of the cars because we're going to take it on the trip, and the other car because we're selling it. And so I was thinking, let's just get it done all at once. And my plan was to do it right at noon. And then some things happened.
It was 105 degrees outside.
Point any fingers, but somebody made us really late. And we didn't get there until, was it 2:00? Like the hottest time of the day. And we spent an hour cleaning those cars. We were
on blacktop.
Oh, it was so hot. We were sweating. I got heat exhaustion. I'm not sure I'm recovered yet. I'm almost recovered. I'm really close.
The cars are clean.
Yeah.
So we have to do something better than that this week.
Yeah, let's not do that.
And it's not to fix the lawnmower.
Miss RA, I know whose fault it was. It was Weather Watch's fault, and that's okay.
Everything's Weather Watch's fault.
Kimar says that the jurors were instructed to fill out the jury form and sign it. So if they didn't, could Bev use that as an excuse not to give in to 1 and 3? I think she can.
That's what I'm afraid of.
I think the law is in her favor that way, but it's against her on not asking where they found agreement or what, if they had points of agreement. So I think there's error on both sides, maybe enough to collectively change the decision here. All right. I didn't look when he climbed up the ladder, says ACDCS. Thank you. Thank you for not sending that picture.
You don't got to lie to us, AZ. It's okay. We're accepting here. We love you. What's up?
Debbie, do you have any plans this weekend?
No.
No.
It rains
You could
every
clean your
day
car.
in Florida this time of year. My car's clean.
Fall? Any big plans this weekend?
No, I'm retired. I just sit around all day. It's beautiful.
How would it be?
You kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, but see, here's the difference. Okay, Recovery Act actually has a purpose in mind when he's sitting around doing stuff all day. I actually don't. There is no subtle point to me. I'm just kind of laying there, just kind of staring at the ceiling, and occasionally I harass RA. It's kind of a fun existence.
Scott is hovering over the end stream button right now.
I'm just mousing over everything. I was going to say, I actually got a call. This is sort of exciting. I told you I do sort of outside venues occasionally. I do audio and video. Got a call from a band that's coming.
Not outside, like outdoors.
Yeah. Well, like outside of my house. Like people asked me to help with audio video. And they called and said, would you be willing to help with a band concert? It's a big record label type band that's coming to perform in Kinston. And I'm like, yeah, sign me up. I think I'll do that.
That's not tomorrow.
That's a week from tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. So we're going on this big trip, right? And whenever we do something big like this, I plan it just to the second, right? And so this week, the plan for this week is that yeah, it's Coldplay. How'd you know?
No.
This week the plan was to clean. We get the whole house and everything in it and around it clean. And then next week is called Impact Week. This is the week that everybody around me realizes that we're going to leave soon. And they start saying, oh my gosh, have we done this? Have we done this? Have we done this? And then we start taking over and doing those big things. So it is just absolutely appropriate that we get a side hustle right during Impact Week.
Yep, it's gonna be good. Anyway, so that's my plan. I might do a little research on what's going to be involved in running audio and video for them, but that's about it. So, Thal, Debbie, hate to say goodbye, but you can go ahead and start your weekends. We're going to close things out here, and we've got lots of things happening next week. We have Monday's going to be busy because we have Karen Reed hearing. We also have I believe the Black Swan trial should be back in full swing. Oh, look, I got a thumbs up. This is pretty cool. Nice. I love it when Judge Simpson does that on his machine, and he's like, what are you talking about? You know, he does some hand motion or something, and then boom, balloons happen.
You give the peace sign and you get balloons?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's fireworks, there's confetti, there's all kinds of stuff.
If you do 2 thumbs up, it's just that.
We just are really excited.
2 peace signs.
I don't remember what they, because I think you have to have a Mac for it to work, and I don't have a Mac, so I don't remember what all the different names are.
Oh.
Sorry.
On the plus side, if you have a Mac, then your computer doesn't crash as much.
There's that. You don't have a blue screen.
You have to have money.
Due to CrowdStrike.
You have to have money to have.
No. If you buy a Mac, you don't have money.
Yeah,
it's all gone.
Mac fixes your money problems.
Yes.
No more concerns about what you're going to spend it on.
Yeah.
It's gone. All right, Debbie, Thal, thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Okay, thank you for having me. This has been so much fun.
Yep. See you later, buddy.
Thanks.
Bye.
Have a good one. Mrs. R.A.
Yes, sir.
Thank you also for being here.
Thanks for letting me come.
It's been a lot of fun. Allie B from Tennessee, we thanked you. Amber, you popped on momentarily, but thank you as well. That's I think that's a wrap for us. Can you hear the music now?
I can.
Okay, it's working. I did the whole intro with no music.
I know. You do that every time you do StreamYard. I don't know what it is about StreamYard, but it does. And every time it happens, I'm like, I need to remember to tell him that happens.
I had just messed up the stream right before that, and then I messed up the stream after. So we're ready for the weekend. It's been a long week. I'm so excited. You guys, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for the wonderful mods. Thanks for all the amazing people in chat. We've had just some great commentary, some great input, and a little bit of humor in there. No, I'm not going to tell you the band's name yet until they, actually say yes. So we'll see. It's a tribute band, I can tell you that. So it's not an A-lister. It's not going to be like the opener at the Eurovision or whatever it is. But anyway, it's good. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe. Till we go live again Monday morning about 8:30-ish. You good with that? 8:30?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. She said yes. You heard it here first. Have a great weekend. If nothing major happens, I won't see you till then. Hope everything goes well until then. You guys be good to each other. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Shame on you, sir.
If they didn't, I would lose my mind.
I'd agree that everything you just said is one of the most horrible things I've ever heard.
Alex stole it as well.
Have them send some.